Well, welcome back. I'm Dante Scala of the Political Science Department at UNH.
And I'm Andy Smith at the Department of Political Science in the UNH Survey Center. And here we are in week 5 of the class talking about money, media, and message, the things that help voters decide who they're going to vote for.
So it's an appropriate time because we're getting near Thanksgiving. Before long, it's Christmas holidays, Hanukkah, and so forth, and then the New Year, and then New Hampshire really buckles down.
Then things speed up. After the New Year, I think we'll really start to see some things start to move and voters starting to make up their mind who they're going to vote for, because I don't think we're there yet.
No, I think New Hampshire voters who are paying attention now might have a list of 3 to 5 candidates that they're thinking about, but that 3 to 5, I think they're going up and down on who's number 1, who's number 2, and they only get to pick one at the end.
But there's one less that they have to worry about, and that's
right.
Bobby Jindal has dropped out this week, so we're down to maybe 13 or so Republican candidates. Hard to keep count of all of them. Think any more will drop out before we get to January?
Yeah, I was surprised that Jindal dropped out because I thought he would last at least through Iowa. So maybe we'll see 1 or 2 more who might decide it's just not going to work out for them. But it's not that much longer to go. If you're in, I think you might persist.
Well, Jindal had the classic problem. When the money runs out, the campaign runs out. And he was essentially out of money. The other thing is about Jindal is he had a day job. He's governor of a state that actually requires some attention. So I think if you're going to look at any of the candidates to see if who's going to drop out next, check to see how much money they have left in hand and see if they're currently employed in a political position.
The other big event of the past week wasn't primary related, but it was really globally related, the terrorist attacks in Paris. And Andy, how do you think those events, unexpected events, are going to shape the race?
Well, you can see that it already has impacted the Democratic race with the debate on Saturday night. That certainly was not going to be the focus of the debate, but it inevitably makes it the case. I'm reminded of the quote by Harold Macmillan, was asked what was the biggest problems that you had as a politician, and he says, events, dear boy, events. When events like this happen, they're out of the control of the campaigns, and they have to respond and react to them.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to watch over the next month or two how much that shapes the candidates' conversations and what they emphasize. Certainly we've seen on the Republican side as well, more of a focus on national security and terrorism and so on, and how much that will affect voters. Will they be looking for something different or someone different than they otherwise would be if those events had not occurred?
Yeah, I think we can anticipate more bellicose talk from certainly the Republicans, and it's a difficult thing for Democrats because President Obama has come out kind of saying, calm down, let's not get carried away, at a time when other presidents, including Francois Hollande, is going the opposite direction, and other leaders across the country are, that puts some of the candidates, I think, out of step with the administration, which they still kind of have to support.
Yeah, and on the Republican side, I think the question will be how those candidates calibrate their language. We're hearing all sorts of tough talk, to be sure, but will Republican primary voters start to apply the commander-in-chief test? In other words, will candidate experience, executive experience in particular, become more of a salient point for voters deciding amongst candidates who are taking more or less the same type of hardline position on what to do in the Middle East?
Right, and I think that's one of the major things that you have with any kind of campaign. Eventually, voters are looking at these people as the president. They want to see them up there behind that presidential seal on the podium. And that's the final decision that they're going to really start to make at the end of January.
So, folks, we're going to turn it back to you. We're going to make a note. One of our viewers pointed out to us, it's not Kefauver, it's Keef. No.
It's not Kefauver, it's Kefauver.
Yes.
But
timeless debate.
Yes.
I still can't pronounce it, apparently.
It's not the only things we can't pronounce. And it'll probably get worse. So we'll see you next week.
See you next week.